Good morning, everyone. Today's topic we are going to learn about what is logistic regression and with some examples. And in our previous videos, we had already learned about what is logistic regression. So in our earlier videos also, we had already seen about what is regression, correlation, and regression problems, and what is linear regression and what is multiple regression all we had seen, and also about logistic regression also we had some videos about that, and comparison between linear regression and multiple regression and linear regression and logistic regression, and what are the kinds of regressions also we had already seen. And about logistic regression also we had already learned about it is one of the statistical method used for modeling the probability of a binary outcome. Means the answer we may can receive true or false. According to the question, we will get the conclusion and we can predict that question by following the logistic regression analysis. In this, the dependent variable is a categorical and represents one of two possible outcomes. So these outcomes are typically we can call as binary outcomes like as 0 and 1. So 0 usually represents the absence of an event and 1 represents the presence of an event. Based on this type of analysis, we can give the conclusions for the logistic regression. And we already know about the difference between linear and logistic regression. Linear regression, there we can see dependent variable and one independent variable, and there we can find a one fixed line, one fit line, that is our like a straight line. We can predict the dependent variable which can exceeds 0 and 1 range between that, and there we can see the one fixed line. And whereas the logistic regression, there are dependent variables and independent variables, and we can get the curve shape like S-shaped curve, and we can predict the dependent variable based on that range whatever we had chosen. Here we are having 0 and 1 range, and we can make some predictions by following some type of outcomes, like we can make some other S-shaped curve based on the analysis. We can predict the analysis by solving the problem with some type of continuous variables, by predicting the value of continuous variable, and we can select the exact maximum value for that curve is the that curve will follow for the analysis for the logistic regression. So means there we can choose some type of conclusions by following the maximum likelihood estimation method. So in this method we used for the estimation of accuracy. By following the maximum likelihood estimation method, we can take the curve of which curve is maximum likelihood according to the given problem, when we can choose that S curve by which we can classify the samples whatever we had taken. And once whatever the output of logistic regression, that must be categorical value like 0 or 1 or S or no type. So like that we will conclude that. And also in this logistic regression, we can do the logistic regression uses by using the logistic function. So that logistic function we can also call it as sigmoid function. Sigmoid function. And this model, the relationship between one or more independent variables and the probability of an event occurring. So for that purpose, we will use this formula in the logistic regression, or sigmoid function we can say it as. So in this model, we can find out the relationship between one or more independent variables and the probability of an event occurring. So, and also here we can see the formula, And also we had seen some of the real world examples also for the logistic regression, like predicting customer churn, and and what is the use of using this logistic regression for this real life example, like that also we had seen. And another example we can see about to get a clear conclusion about what is this logistic regression. For example, if you want to predict the Instagram user engagement, if you want to predict Instagram user engagement, so logistic, one second. So if you want to predict the Instagram user engagement, so we want to predict what is the level of Instagram users engagement in that app. So Instagram is a social media marketing agency. So it wants to predict whether an Instagram post will receive high engagement. So high engagement in the sense receiving more likes and comments to that post, or low engagement based on certain features of the post. And they have collected data on various posts, including the time of posting and the number of followers of the user and the type of content, whether it's a photo or video, and the use of popular hashtags, whatever we are using to that post, and whether that post was sponsored or not. Like this, we will check. And also, the agency aims to use logistic regression to determine which factors influence user engagement. So, by following this logistic regression, they can determine which factors influence this user engagement to Instagram. So, the answer we can predict as the logistic regression can be used to predict the likelihood of a post receiving high or low engagement. So this high or low engagement, this denotes the binary outcome. So we need to represent the logistic regression analysis by predicting the likelihood of the problem, of the given problem. Whether we can denote true or false, 0 or 1, or high or low. Like that, we can give the solution. So, based on the features provided in the question, based on that, we can predict the likelihood of a post receiving is a high or low. So, for that, we need to follow some steps to predict that analysis. First thing is we need to data collection and pre-processing is must. So we need to clean the data, handling these values and encode categorical variables like content type and sponsorship, like this. Those will be into numerical values by using the binary encoding. So like that, we need to collect the data and we need to pre-process that data. Then after we can do the feature selection. We need to choose the relevant features that are likely to influence the user engagement. So like that, we can choose the relevant features. So this can involve the domain expected and statistical analysis also we need for that. And next we need model building. So we need to fit a logistic regression model to the data. The model will learn the relationship between the independent variables. So the independent variable here are the features of the Instagram post and the likelihood of high or low engagement. Like that, we need to build a model and we need to fit a logistic regression model to the given Instagram data. And next, we need to evaluate that model, split the data into training and testing sets. And we need to train the logistic regression model on the training set and evaluate its performance on the testing set, and use some metrics also like accuracy, precision, recall. Like we can use the F1 score also to assess the model's effectiveness. And next, we need to interpret that. Interpretation means we need to analyze the coefficients of the logistic regression model to understand the impact of each feature on the likelihood of high engagement. So, positive coefficient suggests that the feature increases the odds of high engagement, while negative coefficient suggests the opposite. Like that, we can interpret. And the next step, we can do prediction and action. So, use the trained logistic regression model to predict whether future Instagram posts will receive high or low engagement. So the agency can then tailor their content strategy based on the predicted engagement level. So these are the steps we need to follow for to get the conclusion and for to get our analysis through the prediction and actions. We need to follow these steps but to get the clear scenario of using this logistic regression model to predict the likelihood of the post receiving high or low engagement. So, what is the benefit of this using this logistic regression? We can get the clear insights and we can get the strategical decision making, and also resource allocation also is easy by following this analysis by identifying the better influential factors also. So, in this modeling approach, it is important to ensure that the data used for training the model is representative of the scenarios in which the model will be applied. So, data bias and changes in user behavior over the time can affect the model's performance. So, and also we can predict the model that accurately reflects real world behavior also. And also, while logistic regression is a good starting point, and more complex models like some of the methods are so like this some considerations also we need to follow for this analysis. So by applying this logistic regression to predict user engagement on Instagram, so the agency can make data driven decisions to enhance their social media marketing strategies, and they can improve their overall effectiveness in engaging with their target audience. So that is the use of using this logistic regression model for this Instagram user prediction. So this is the one of the real world example for using of logistic regression analysis. So we can denote the high engagement and low engagement as 0. See, this is the binary denomination we can use for the analysis. For example, we can apply the formula for the same example by using the data. For example, we need to predict the Instagram user engagement. So the scenario is you are analyzing the Instagram post and trying to predict whether a post will receive high engagement or low engagement based on the number of followers of that user. So the data was set of Instagram posts are there. You have collected data on the number of followers of the user and whether the post received high engagement or low engagement. So the data was like this. The first post and the followers for that post was happened and the engagement is like this. So like this we got a data. So the logistic regression model we can do by following this post followers and engagement data as first we need to apply the sigmoid function. So the sigmoid function also called as logistic function. So this logistic regression model uses the sigmoid function to map any input to a value between 0 and 1. So the formula for this is sigmoid of we can represent as z equal to 1 by 1 plus e power minus z. So where z is the linear combination of input features and their respect coefficients. And next we can see the linear combination. So the linear combination can be done by following this formula. So like we can calculate it as z equal to beta 0 plus beta one like this. How many independent variables, what are the features are there, those we can add in this, like followers and whatever the data we have taken, engagement. So like that we can add here in the linear combination. And next, probability of high engagement. So the probability of high engagement means in this we can choose the data for the linear combination like p equal to sigmoid equal to 1 by 1 plus e power minus z. And for to check the odds ratio, so this odds ratio, this is for the ratio of the probability of high engagement to the probability of low engagement. So we can use the formula p by 1 minus p. So we can represent odd ratio as OR. And the logistic regression formula. So the goal is to find out the coefficients beta 0 and beta 1 that maximize the likelihood of the observed outcomes. So we can use the formula. Let's say we have calculated the coefficients of beta 0 and beta 1 as like these values -2 and 0.005. So we want to predict the probability of high engagement for the user of 1300 followers. So next we can do the calculations, the calculation of Z. Z means here we had already seen the sigmoid function. Z equal to beta 0 and beta 1 values into number of followers -2 plus 0.005 into followers 1300. So the Z answers we got the sigmoid function is 4.5. And we need to calculate the probability of high engagement by using the formula P equal to sigmoid into Z, probability of high engagement. So P equal to sigmoid of the Z value we got 4.5. So the similar to the value that is 0.989. And calculate the odd ratio by following the formula of P by 1 minus P. P value is 0.989 by 1 minus 0.989. So the answer will be 96.9. So we can get the conclusion like 1300 followers, the logistic regression must be like this. So for the 1300 followers, we got the logistic regression model predicts a high engagement probability of approximately 0.989 corresponding to an odd ratio of around 96.9. So this suggests that the users with more followers are more likely to have high engagement with their post. So this is the conclusion we can get through this logistic regression. So by the analysis of this question, for this 1300 followers of that user, so the regression model predicts a high engagement probability of approximately this much corresponding to an OR ratio. So this suggests that the users with more followers are more likely to have high engagement with their post. So these examples uses simplified coefficients and single feature also. These real world scenarios involve multiple features, more data processing, more evaluation and turning will be there. So and also the coefficients are usually determined through optimization technique like some gradient and descent. So like this we can analyze the functions by following the logistic regression analysis. So this logistic regression analysis, it will give the conclusion about we can get the conclusion right either or not. Like we can take this conclusion or not. For example, we can take some other questions for to check the how to calculate this analysis. For example, some logistic regression analysis we can say like predicting customer subscription. For example, a marketing team wants to predict whether a customer will subscribe to a premium service or not. So this This is the question. So we need to solve this by following the regression as logistic regression analysis. So we want to predict the customer subscription. So the scenario is a marketing team wants to predict whether a customer will subscribe to premium service based on their age or income. So this is the question. So the data values are they were already given like this. So here you can see the data, customers and their age and their income and their subscribed lists. So here you can see the data which was given. So the question is you need to predict the customer subscription. So they want to predict whether a customer will subscribe to a premium service based on their age and income. So they can subscribe for that new premium subscription or not. So you need to analyze that by following this logistic regression analysis. So the procedure is same like earlier example what we have seen. So the first thing is data processing is must. So we have the features like age and income and we need to encode that categorical variables and split the data into training and testing sets. And then next apply the logistic regression model. Fit a logistic regression model to the data by applying the formula of log of p into 1 minus p by 1 minus p that equal to whatever the values we have like beta 0 and beta 1 like this. So like this formula we need to apply for the logistic regression analysis. And next we need to evaluate that model and also we can evaluate that by following the accuracy, precision and recall and F1 score also. And we need to interpret that by using the by examining the coefficients of beta 0, beta 1 and beta 2. And next we need to do the diagnosis also. So we can apply the values whatever we have beta 0 plus beta 1 into age plus beta 2 into income. And also we need to find out the p value also by applying the formula and we can get the conclusion about the given data that premium subscription will be happen according to their age or not. So like that we can do the calculation through analysis and by applying the formula and we can predict the analysis. And also another example we can see about medical diagnosis. For example, a medical researcher want to predict they want to predict the whether a patient has a certain medical conditions based on his blood pressure and cholesterol level. So he want to predict whether a patient has a certain medical conditions based on his BP and cholesterol level. So they will have some data, patient details and patient names and their blood pressures and their cholesterol levels and his condition. So like that they have the data. And the first thing is they need to do data pre-processing. So whatever the features, p values and cholesterol values are there and they need to split the data into training and testing sets and apply the logistic regression model means fit a logistic regression model to train the data. Like we can apply the formula as log of p into 1 by log of p by 1 minus p. So like this we can apply. Log of p by 1 minus p equal to beta 0 plus beta 1 into the features BP plus beta 2 into cholesterol. So by calculating the values we can get the answers. We had already seen how to calculate the p value and how to calculate the z value. We can calculate the p value by applying the formula of sigmoid of z equal to 1 by 1 plus e power z, and the odd ratio value is like this, p by 1 minus p. We need to add those formulas to get the values for this log of function and add the values of the features given. Then calculate the data. We will get the conclusions for that evaluation, and later we need to interpret those coefficients. So like this, some of the real world examples we can consider to analyze by following the logistic regression model. And the same way we can see another example like credit default predictions. Credit default predictions means they want to predict whether a customer will default on their credit card payment based on their credit score and outstanding debit. So for this type of examples also we can use this logistic regression to get the default values either 1 or 0. So these type of problems and solutions, they can illustrate that how this logistic regression can be used in different scenarios to predict binary outcomes based on relevant features. So some of the more advanced techniques like regularization, cross-validation, and feature engineering might be used for more accurate results. So these are some of the simple real-life examples we can we can use, and we can understand how this logistic regression model is useful for to get the clear conclusions and for to predict the analysis. So this is about logistic regression model examples. Here we can see. So as of now, we discussed about logistic regression, what is logistic regression, and what are the benefits and what are the uses of this logistic regression, and difference between logistic regression and logistic and linear regression, and also this logistic regression formula, how to apply the formula of logistic regression, and the some of the real life examples of logistic regression, and with some analysis like predicting Instagram user engagement. And also we had seen another examples of real life examples only. We had seen how to apply this logistic regression like predicting customer subscription. So this is about logistic regression analysis to get the clear predictor values for that by following the binary outcomes.